Let's go!
Good. I'm not going to shoot this anymore, and I'm going to make sure I change that frame. What's up, everybody? This is the video y'all been asking for, the Ruger RXM frame video. Okay, I'm going to take you over all my Ruger RXM frames that I've acquired over the last year and a half. I got the Ruger RXM as my first pistol, my first EDC, literally January 1st, 2025. I carried mostly all of 2025 when I wasn't carrying the Glock 19X, just to have something different. And of course, when I get a new pistol, I like to carry it as long as it works and is going to be reliable. I do like to carry it to make sure if I was to carry that pistol, how would it feel and so forth. So let's get into it. This is the final form of my Ruger RXM. I will be taking it to competition next week. It came with two 15-round magazines, but unfortunately, I have the full-size frame on this, so they're not going to fit. Won't fit, but I do have, these are just dummy rounds, no primer, no gunpowder. I do have these in the 17 round, and that'll fit just fine. So 17 rounds, magazines, and up will fit this with a full-size frame. I do have a threaded barrel. This is an aftermarket threaded barrel. Just to give it a little touch, I do have a Zero Hawk EM1 I put on there. This is a 6 MOA green dot. I'm testing it currently right now. I'll tell you what I think about it in future videos. Have the factory iron sights that came with it with the tritium on the front. We have a titanium back plate that is a Bitcoin symbol. I love Bitcoin. Me and my family have strived from having Bitcoin over the years, so I love it. I do have a stainless steel recoil spring that is a 15 pounds, and I do have a ghost connector 3 pounds I put in here just to give it a little smoother feel. All right, so this is the final form right now, and of course that can always change when it comes to me. I have a lot of frames, so I can always switch them out. Let's go over what my frames are. This was my very first frame I got with the Ruger RXM. What I did was dye it black. So I dyed this frame black using right dye. It was very easy. And after that, it was a little boring to me. So I had my father-in-law spray painted white. All right, so he spray painted white. I did a few videos on it. People roasted me. All right. People roasted me so bad having a stormtrooper Glock, having a stormtrooper pistol. They're like, you ain't gonna be able to shoot nothing with that now. Now that it's white and black, it's over for you. And I don't know, I just kept on hearing that in the back of my head. So then I went outside one day and I spray painted it all red. All right, so I spray painted it all red. I left it out there. I just kind of forgot about it because it wasn't, of course, a frame that I was using. So then I realized when I brought it back inside, it was all sticky. The whole frame was sticky, and it came out just fine. The red did, but I can never get that sticky feeling out. So after I had it for about 2 weeks like that, every time I dry fired, it would just be a sticky mess. I'll have red spray paint residue on my hands. So I took sandpaper. I literally took some sandpaper and I just started sanding it down. All right. So I got some of that white to pop out. I got some of that black to pop out. And it kind of became a cartoonish, anime looking type of setup. So it's not too bad. This is the original gray frame that now is black, white, and red. And kind of have a Deadpool theme going to it. All right. So this is my very first frame that came with the Ruger RXM. That's what it'll look like. Not too bad, right? All right, so we'll put this to the side. Now after that, that's when they started making the different colors. So they had FDE, they had OD green, and then black. And then of course you could also order gray if you wanted just another gray one. So I got FDE. I knew with FDE I could do whatever I wanted to it. And I also had the 19X by the time they came out with this. So the 19X was a very similar color to this FDE. The 19X, of course, is Coyote Brown, and this is FDE, but it came out pretty good. So I kept this just plain Jane. I did add some hockey tape to it just to give it a little bit of color and also for me to grip it. But this is my FD. This was my second frame that I had. I like it. Now, these are all compact frames, okay? Like I said, it took about a year before they released the subcompact frames and the full-size frames. But after about 6 months or so, I'd say about 4 to 6 months, they started releasing the colors, different colors of the compact frame. So then I got this. This was also FDE as well. And what I did to get it a little bit of tiger stripe is I dyed it green first. And then after I dyed it green, I got a hot glue gun, and then I hot glued some spots on it where I wanted that tiger stripe pattern. And then after that, I dyed it black. So then after I dyed it black and got it out the dye, wherever the hot glue was already dried, it didn't melt. It just I was able to pull the hot glue away, and then the green was able to show. So I dyed it green first, then I dyed it black using some techniques with hot glue to give that pattern. So I really like this. So that was my third one. Now, since I dyed that third one, my fourth one was another dye job. I got the FD frame and I wanted to do a little bit more colors to it. I saw someone on Reddit had do some Magpul jobs where they had the camo print. So I was like, let me see if I could do it on a Ruger RXM frame. So of course, this is an FDE frame. I hot glued some spots so they stayed FDE. And then I hot glued some spots so it stayed, black, because I wanted to dye this twice. So it was FDE frame. I hot glued it all over pretty much, dyed it green for the first coat. The first coat got green on it. And then I kept on the hot glue, and then I dyed it black. So dyed it green, then I dyed it black. And that's what I came out with. So then after that, I was able to peel off the hot glue, and that's how it came out. Now, a year of waiting, I was finally able to get a full-size frame. The first full-size frame I got was FDE. Now, of course, this isn't FDE. I did dye this racing red, and it turned out to be a cranberry or raspberry, depending on what fruit you like. But this came out as a full-size frame FDE that I dyed it to be raspberry. And that's how it'll look. This is literally my least favorite frame, all right? When I first got it, all right, I'm not going to lie. This was my least favorite frame when I first bought it. I took it to the range. I hated it. I shot it maybe 3 to 7 rounds tops. And then I put it back in my bag and I was like, nope, I'm not going to keep that frame. All right, this is the subcompact frame. This is the subcompact frame, right? So, of course, I went FDE because I was like, I could do all kinds of things with it. I could dye it. I could color it. This is a 12-round magazine. Magpul, though, not Glock. This is a Magpul magazine. Now, anytime when I went to the range and I shot it that 3 to 7 times, every time I shot it, this part would pinch my hand every single time. It would pinch this right here, and violently it would pinch me. So every time I bop, 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 it would just pinch. It would forcefully keep going in and out, in and out, taking up the next round, and I hated that. It pinched me so it pinched my finger so bad that I was like, no, I'm good. I'm not gonna shoot this anymore, and I'm gonna make sure I change that frame. And that was pretty much it. Now, since then, I have went back to the frame. I figured out if these are dummy rounds, if I put a bigger mag inside of it, like a 17 round, and I could literally hold it still and it will still function. So I went to the range, I tested this theory. I had one of my 21 rounds and I went to the range, pop, 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 pop. It felt just fine. There was no pinching. It felt actually good. So there we go. So when I go with my subcompact frame, I definitely got to have a little bit of extra with the magazine, and I won't get pinched when I shoot. So that was my least favorite frame until I was able to work through those pains and find out what I had to do for my hands to get it to function properly for me. Was it supposed to be a joke? I literally saw someone on Facebook that was getting rid of their FDE frame, so I picked it up and then I sent it straight. I had to mail it straight to my father-in-law. I saw that he was doing some craft work and spray painting all types of things around his house just to be creative. And I was like, you know what, man? I'm gonna send you a frame and be creative with that. Use whatever freestyle customization that you want, just make sure that it looks nice. All right. And he was like, I got you. It took him maybe 4 to 6 months to finally finish this. And when he did, he gave it to me. And I was still happy. I got it because he didn't have to take his time to do it for me at all. So I was still happy, but he was like, you know what? This is actually a joke. This was a joke. I thought you would be more upset. I was like, you know what? That's not me, man. Without someone, I'm too old for that. We're grown ups. I just thank you that you did this for me. And that's it. Purple Rain, baby. Purple Rain. The purple with the glitter. So I never really put this on my RXM. I love purple. Don't get me wrong. And I love to stick out. But I don't see where I would be using this at a range or a competition without someone saying, what the hell is that? I know I will one day. All right. Maybe if I had a poll put up on my page, or if I got enough motivation from my followers, my subscribers, then maybe they'll be like, yo, man, bring out the purple. Then maybe. But for right now, this is literally just stays in the box. But it's beautiful. But when I saw it, I was like, you know what? Thank you. I told you can have free range of what you want to do. You did it. I can't be upset. You did it purple with glitter. But he said, you know what? That was a joke. Picked up himself. After he did that joke on me with the other frame, he pulled out my frame that he actually did for me. It's like, this is the real frame. I actually bought it myself when I found out that they was cheap. And then I spray painted it myself. You don't have to go through a FFL to get these frames because they're just the polymer frame made by Magpul. All right. This was my real one that he did. So I got this It was black, and then he also did a clear coat to make it an effect. Now this is a Glock 15 round magazine. It's a Glock, but it's a Glock 17 magazine. So Glock 17 mag. And this how I carried it when I did carry it. I carried it for a while actually with this setup. The X grip, so I could get some more rounds in. Now, most of the time I would do a 17 round magazine or a 19 round magazine, Glock 17, and put it in here. And then of course you'll have that hang off without that grip. But I'm able to shoot this with the X grip just fine. It doesn't pinch me or anything. And then I added some, I believe this is NDZ grip. I wanted to just try out. I think it came out good. It locks me in. That's how it looks. Amazing. All right, and then that was it. Frame was this black one. That's my last pickup. I may do another FDE frame, full size that is, and then dye it either blue or orange and do an orange black tiger stripe pattern on it, or I may just dye it blue and then do some kind of blue and black camo. We'll have to see though, like blue FDE and blue black FDE camo, or I'll do it orange and black tiger stripe. So it's like the green and black tiger stripe, but just orange and black. That is it, man. That's all my Ruger RXM frames. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, please subscribe, and until next time, peace.
Thanks for watching. Now let's shoot.